Hi St Albans, it's Mrs Abbott here, and I am here to go through another worship with you. And the worship focus today is another one of our learning bees, and the learning bee focus is going to be positive. Now, the first thing I want you to think about today is the Lion King. So, for those of you that have seen the Lion King, whether it was the cartoon or whether it's the more recent one, who is the main character? Let's have a quick think. See if you can remember who the main character is. So, the main character is Simba, and Simba runs away from his home, Pride Rock, because he thinks that he has done something wrong. Well, when he's grown up, Simba has to make a decision whether to face up to his past and return home to sort out the problem, or whether to stay where he is. Now, I'm just going to play a little clip that is of Simba thinking about the decision that he has to make.
Looks like the wind's pitching.
Change is good.
Yeah, but it's not easy. You know what I have to do? Going back means I have to face my past. Running from it for so long.
Ow! Jeez, what's that for? It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. Ah! You see? So what are you going to do?
First, I'm gonna take your stick.
No. Not a stick. Hey! Where are you going?
I'm going back.
What? Get out of the house!
Now, at the end of that clip, you can see that Simba returns home, and he chooses to go home because he wants to go and sort out his mistakes, and in the end, he becomes King of Pride Rock. Now, when we think to the Bible, there are many stories about people who also make mistakes like Simba did, but who also try to rectify them. So one of the examples is Adam and Eve, where they make the decision to eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden. Another example is Joseph boasting about his coat of many colours and all of the dreams that he had, which then led to his brothers selling him into slavery. And our third example is Jonah, where he tries to get out of doing a job that God wanted him to do, and he ends up being swallowed by a whale. But when we think back to Simba, he was able to be positive even after making his mistakes and tries to rectify them, and that's why he returns home. And in all of those three examples from the Bible, these people try to do just the same thing. They make a mistake, they try to think positively, and then they try to rectify their mistakes. Now we're going to apply this idea of being positive when making mistakes a little bit more. The next clip I'm going to show you is about one of Jesus' special friends, one of his disciples, and that is Peter. Peter was one of Jesus' first disciples, and he spent 3 years travelling with Jesus and working alongside him. Peter would have been considered one of Jesus' best friends, and Jesus had also told Peter that one day Peter would be the person who would lead the whole church. However, despite his close friendship with Jesus, Peter sometimes made big mistakes. Now I'm going to play a clip to you which displays Peter making one of those big mistakes.
Hey, weren't you with Jesus in the temple? We've got one of the followers of Jesus here.
What? I don't know him.
You're one of his followers.
I swear on my life, I've never met Jesus.
If you are the Messiah, tell us.
You do not believe anything I say, so why should I tell you?
that soon the Son of Man will be seated beside the throne of God.
So, you are the Son of God, then?
It's you who are saying so.
And you are definitely with Jesus. You're from Galilee. You're one of his men. You're a Galilean. He's one of them.
You're a filthy liar. Liars. I never knew him. In God's name, I never even met the man in my whole life.
So in the clip, we can see that Jesus had been arrested and Peter had followed Jesus and the soldiers to the place where he had been taken and where he was being held. However, Peter ends up saying 3 times on 3 separate occasions that he doesn't know Jesus at all. So he makes 3 mistakes. This is something that Jesus had said that Peter would do, but Peter was sure that his prediction would never come true. I just want you to have a little think. Why do you think Peter denied knowing Jesus? Why did he pretend on 3 separate occasions that he didn't know who Jesus was? Well, one of the main reasons is that Peter was scared, he was fearful, he was frightened, not only for Jesus, but for his own life. And he also didn't want Jesus to die. Now have another think. With all those emotions going round in Peter's head, how do you think Peter felt after he had denied knowing Jesus? We can assume that Peter would be feeling quite a lot of emotions. He'd have felt dreadfully upset with himself. He'd have felt like he'd let Jesus down. He might be feeling cross and angry, miserable, even gloomy or dejected, because Jesus is somebody that he has followed for many, many years, and he has let Jesus down. Now, as we move through the story, we know that later on Jesus did die, and he then came back to life again. And for the next 40 days, he appeared to the disciples a few times, and he taught them about why he had to die on the cross. Just before Jesus returned to heaven, the disciples and Jesus had breakfast together on the beach. And after that meal, Jesus did an amazing thing. He took Peter for a walk along the beach and made it clear that although he knew Peter had let him down, he forgave him, and he still had important work for Peter to do. Now, having this forgiveness and being positive in this situation enabled Peter to move on with his life in a positive way. And Peter ended up travelling around the Roman Empire teaching people about Jesus. Being able to forgive people and being positive when something bad has happened, maybe it's something that you have done or something that somebody else has done, is a very important skill. Not only does it help us to learn from our own mistakes, but it makes people feel better, especially if they've been feeling miserable or cross since they made their mistake. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of time to reflect, so you can pause the video if you would like to. I want you to think about a time when you have made a mistake, and we absolutely all do make them. It could be at school or it could be at home. How did you change your mindset to be positive and to rectify that mistake? When we realise that we have made a mistake, it's very important not to repeat the same mistake again, because it then can become a very bad habit. It's always best to say sorry and to sort out a mistake straight away, because like I said, we all make mistakes. If somebody apologises to us for making a mistake, it's always best to accept their apology and move on in a positive way, because anyone can make a mistake, children and adults alike. Christians believe that it is important to admit our mistakes to God. They believe that when we get things wrong, we can say sorry and that God will forgive us. And this then means that we can have a fresh start and learn from the mistakes we've made in hope that we will never repeat them again. So I want to just think now how that story and how some of that information links to our learning B, the be positive. So what does this look like for us in school or at the moment while we are working from home? Well, when we talk about being positive in the classroom, we think about working hard, we think about apologising after making a mistake and moving on in a positive way. We're thinking about keep on going, avoiding any distractions that might be around us, and that might be a little bit more difficult as well whilst you are at home. There's lots going on in the house. It's about being keen and showing those high levels of energy, which will help you to persevere. So linking with one of our important Christian values in our school. It's about asking for help, because it's always important that if we are struggling, if we've made a mistake, that we ask for help so someone can support us. And that goes for both in school and at home. It also links with trying new strategies and bouncing back after those difficulties, bouncing back after making that mistake, thinking, you know what, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to do this, and having another go. Now we're just going to do a prayer to end our worship. You can put your hands together if you would like to, or worship as you do. Dear God, thank you for our friends, our school and our families. Thank you for the opportunities we have to learn new things in and out of school. Thank you for all of the staff and our family members who celebrate our achievements but can also help us to sort out our mistakes. We pray that when we know that we have made a mistake, we will be quick to say sorry. We pray that we will be quick to learn from our mistakes. Amen.